Okay, I show 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call this meeting of the Harrisonville Board of Aldermen to order. If you all would please stand and recite the pledge with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Alderman Davidson. Alderman Dorhoff.
Present.
I got you, Alderman Davidson. Alderman Milner.
Present.
Alderman Reese.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Zaring.
Present.
Mayor Bowman.
Present, thank you. We do have a quorum. Welcome, everybody, and Happy New Year. We have no ceremonial matters this evening. Mr. Ratliff, did you receive any agenda request forms from the public this week?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll move on to approval of the minutes. And at this point, I would ask you, if you haven't already done so, to please mute your cell phones and then mute yourself on Zoom when you're not speaking. So we kind of cut back on the feedback. That Zoom microphone muting button is in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. All right, approval of the minutes from the Board of Aldermen work session, December 21st. I'm looking for a motion.
Second.
Who was the first?
I think Marcy.
Thank you. I have a motion from Alderman Milner with a second from Alderman Dorhoff to approve the minutes of the December 21st work session. Could I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Zaring.
Aye.
Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff.
Aye.
Thank you. Those minutes stand approved. The minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Aldermen, December 21st, 2020. I'd be looking for a motion.
I make motion.
I got you both. I have a motion from Alderman Turner. Alderman Zaring, would you be the second? Thank you. And a second from Alderman Zaring. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Zaring.
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Thank you. Those minutes stand approved as read. Moving on then to our agenda items, Council Bill 01. If you'd make the note on your agenda, because we're in a new year, Council Bill 95 actually becomes Council Bill 01. And the next item, Council Bill 96, actually becomes Council Bill 02. So if you just make those two modifications to your agenda. And now, Alex, if you go ahead and read Council Bill 01.
Sure. A resolution of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Harrisonville, Missouri, approving the appointment of Sandy Franklin to the Board of Aldermen.
Thank you. So we have an appointment that I am pleased to bring to the board and request your approval to appoint Sandy Franklin to fill the vacated seat that was vacated by former Alderman David Dickerson. This appointment will last until the next municipal election, which will be 2023. I did not receive any other inquiries from any Ward 3 residents expressing interest in serving in this position. So I'm thrilled to be able to bring Mrs. Franklin to you. You have her resume showing her many years of service to the city of Harrisonville. And so I would entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Milner with a second from Alderman Dorhoff to approve the appointment of Sandy Franklin to the Board of Aldermen as a representative of Ward 3. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff,
Aye.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Zaring,
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Alderman-to-be Franklin is here in City Hall with us. And if you'll give us just a couple of minutes to move some things around, City Clerk Barnett is going to administer the oath of office. And City Administrator Ratliff is going to turn his computer so that everyone who's on the Zoom call can actually be a part of this. So I'm going to go ahead and let you all get into position.
Okay.
Good to go? All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Sandy Franklin,
I, Sandy Franklin,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all of the qualifications
prescribed for the office of Alderman of the City of Harrisonville,
prescribed for the office of Alderman of the City of Harrisonville,
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States and of the State of Missouri,
of the United States and the State of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws of this state
the provisions of all laws of this state
affecting cities of the fourth class,
affecting cities of the fourth class,
and the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville,
and the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville,
and that I will faithfully demean myself
and that I will faithfully demean myself
in the office of Alderman Ward 3,
in the office of Alderman Ward 3,
for which I was appointed
for which I was appointed
on the 4th day of January 2021.
on the 4th day of January 2021.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You step over here.
Congratulations, Alderman Franklin, and welcome to the board.
First time I've done a swearing in by Zoom.
I know. You can't see her board, but she's signing her paperwork.
Well, we are very excited to have her on board.
Absolutely. So Alderman Franklin is going to be joining us up here on the dais. We'll give her a little bit of time to get settled in.
Don't be too bad her first time.
Okay. All right, moving on then to Council Bill 02.
Pardon me, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Harrisonville authorizing the city administrator to implement the Missouri Department of Conservation Community Assistance Program for North Lake, Lake Luna, and Upper Lake, and establishing an effective date.
Thank you very much. I think Mr. Perky is on the meeting and he's going to give us the background from this. Go ahead, Grant. Good evening.
Madam Mayor and Board, this is a community assistance program that we would enter into an agreement with Missouri Conservation Department. We already had a CAPS program with North Lake, and this would just be a revision of that and adding Luna, Lake Luna and the Upper Lake as part of that agreement. Another new thing for that agreement would be stocking Lake Luna with winter trout. And so part of that, the Parks and Rec would pay 50% of the cost of stocking that trout. And that 50% would be agreed upon by May of the previous year, and then it would be stocked in November to be ready to be fished in the spring. So also part of that agreement would be maintaining the lakes. The Conservation Department would help us create a management plan to make sure that the lakes don't get overgrown with moss, or if there's any other kind of bacteria or anything we need to address, they'll help us keep our lakes well maintained. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the community assistance program. So staff recommends approval.
If you've been on the board for a while, you know that this agreement has been in place for a number of years. And I think the thing that was missing the last time was a definitive management plan. So thank you, Grant, for making sure that we have that this time. Questions from the board for Mr. Perky?
I have a question. Grant, would you mind just doing a quick once over of the things that grant includes, or maybe not just the grant, but the way Missouri Conservation assists Harrisonville? Is it just the lake, or are there other things involved?
So with this contract, it would be with the lakes. They would help out with any like patrolling. So like the conservation agent, if he's out patrolling the lakes and sees something that's not, against the rules, he would call it in. But it would pretty much just be the maintenance. We would buy the chemicals and they would apply the chemicals to the lakes, along as well as they would create the management plan for us to make sure the lakes are well maintained. So they would be doing the testing of the lakes to see, to make sure we're not going to have a bunch of curly leaf growing up in the lakes or be overgrown with moss. But it's pretty much they would stock the lakes. That they're hurting right now staff wise to where they're kind of stretched pretty thin, to where I talked to him today. He said he would love to do more. Unfortunately, that department's been hit pretty hard with cuts, and so he's hoping to see that they can help us out more in the future. But as of right now, it's just the management and the stocking of the lakes.
Okay, it's basically lake assistance. We're not getting any wildlife or woodland or any of that sort.
No, not with this program. This would be strictly for the 3 lakes: North Lake, Lake Luna, and the Upper Lake.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Certainly. Go ahead, Alderman Turner.
We had talked before with the restrooms out at North Lake and how much of a nuisance, and weren't we going to tear that down and just have some porta potties out there? I mean, isn't that part of the agreement? We had to have restrooms out there.
Grant, can you address that?
Yeah, and I believe I read something about that either in a previous email or here it is. Yeah, we have to maintain. Gosh, I saw that somewhere, but yeah, I believe that the porta potties was mentioned, and that's something that I can find out for sure.
Well, in years past, we had the restrooms out there, and it was such a chore for our crews to go out and have to climb in to get stuff out that people thrown in that shouldn't go in there, and just it was more of a hassle than anything, to where we had talked about getting rid of it completely and just have some porta potties set out there to be easier to maintain through the summer. That's why wasn't sure if we went ahead and agreed to do that or if we're still keeping what we got.
I wish I could answer you 100%, but I'm pretty sure that we had porta potties out there this past summer. Don't hold me to that, but I want to say that that was the case. But I can find out for sure, answer tomorrow for sure.
Mr. Radley.
The Alderman Turner, I believe that Public Works went out there and took those out because they were having a problem with people stuffing
Yeah.
them and doing that. And so that was done, and then the porta pots that would be put out at that location. The discussion at the time was, do we do it just during season, or do we do all year round? Right now, we're doing at season, and that way, if anyone wants them off season, we'll have the discussion at that point. But the during season is when we're going to make sure that they're there.
Right. Well, I mean, we had talked about doing it before. I just want to make sure it got done.
Yeah, they went. That was one of the first things that Public Works went out to do because it was a big problem.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, Alderman Dorhoff.
Brent, do we have a price associated? I see where it says, we're responsible for 50%. Do you have an idea how much it's going to cost? And I'm assuming that it's in the budget.
So we're not going to stock it until the dam and the spillways are repaired, and hopefully we can dredge the lake as well. And I discussed that with the conservation department. So it'll be totally up to our budget and what we can afford. So it'll be an agreed upon price. It'll be anywhere from probably $1,000 to $2,000 would be our cost for the trout.
So if you're going to dredge it, you're going to drain the lake completely or just dredge it?
That is, I think, still up for discussion with Wilson and Company and city staff. But I think as of now, with the last meeting I was at, they're hoping they won't have to drain the lake when they do the dams and the spillways. And
yeah, I was just curious if they were going to be able to take the fish out of there and save them and put them back in. Or
They're hoping to. That's the option one, is try to keep the fish that are there and during the dredge event.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion from Alderman Milner with a second from Alderman Turner. Roll call, please.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Reese,
Aye.
Alderman Davidson,
Aye.
Alderman Zaring,
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Franklin.
Thank you. Council Bill 02 is approved unanimously and becomes Resolution 2021-002. Item D on the agenda is the acknowledgement of the Ward 3 Alderman resignation. Again, no action. The board is just accepting that you have in your packet the letter from former Alderman Clint Miller, resigning his position as Alderman for Ward 3. I will advise the board that I have not received any applications from any other Ward 3 residents expressing an interest in serving on the Board of Aldermen. I will be bringing a recommendation to you real soon. So now we'll move on to Alderman and committee reports, and I'll start with Alderman Dorhoff.
I don't have anything this evening.
Alderman Zaring.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Hey, just wanted to welcome Alderman Franklin. Look forward to getting to know and working with you over the next couple of years. And wanted to it seems like we got a lot of people in the city. I went through, I like the employee newsletter that was sent out. It's nice to be able to see all the people that have been working for the city for quite some time now. Looks like we got several people in the police department that's been here for a while. One new police officer, I think, has come on board. So really like the newsletter there. That is all I have, Madam Mayor.
I like the fact that you're reading those things, Alderman Zaring. The employee newsletter and that weekly report are chock full of information about the things that our staff is doing. So thank you very much for that. Alderman Reese.
No, other than to give the thumbs up to our street department. They have been working so hard and we see them everywhere. And our streets, in comparison to some of the other cities nearby, are way up there. So once again, thanks to the street department.
Absolutely. Thank you for acknowledging that. Alderman Milner.
To acknowledge our new alderman, Sandy Franklin. We're excited to have you. I'm sure you'll have a lot of good information for us. And I'm sure your family's very excited for you.
Thank you, Alderman Milner. Alderman Franklin, did you have anything to say? You need to unmute yourself.
If you hold down your space bar, that'll usually unmute it. You just keep it held down while you talk.
Mhm.
She just got this machine tonight.
Yes. There you go. Now you're unmuted. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for your vote of confidence for me, and I am thrilled to be here, and I am looking forward to working with each and every one of you and from learning from each and every one. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Davidson.
I'd like to echo also congratulations, Alderman Franklin, for becoming a board of the Alderman. Also, a couple of things I would like to mention. Was recently involved in some boards for the police department. I'd like to congratulate Sergeants Davis and Shepard to their recent promotions, and also Arbuckle moving to the detective unit. One other thing, it's been probably a year ago, I'm not sure the date, there was a theft from a local jewelry store in town, and through the work of the police department and also with the going along with the work with the jewelry store, just recently they it was a very large item that was stolen. They were able to make an arrest out of state. Currently is being held out of state, and I'd like to congratulate the police department, obviously Chief Hofer and his staff, for the hard work that they did and being able to conclude this theft. And don't know if they're going to be able to bring the property back, but at least they were able to make an arrest on it. So Chief Hofer, congratulations on your work with your department, and thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Turner.
Yeah, I want to give a recognition to our staff. I mean, they do such a great job, and I actually had to go here last month with our church. We had a water problem, and they helped me isolate down. I figured out where it was at and got that fixed. They were great to deal with. Our streets, they did really good during this last ice storm. Also, kudos to the electric department. I figured we'd have more outages or something, tree limbs, and we haven't. So our tree crews are doing a really good job on getting the trees caught up. Also, I had a person get a hold of me a while back that they were wanting to know if we could look at or maybe consider updating some ordinances or codes for Lake Harrisonville for the horsepower limit on boats for it. And that's something that we could maybe take a look at and see compared to maybe some of the other towns around and get something close to them. And congratulations to Alderman Franklin, and look forward to working with you for a few more years. So that's it.
Thank you, Alderman Turner. Report from the city administrator.
First Alderman Turner, I think it may be the same person that hit Alderman Davidson about a month ago. And we provided that information to him. And the Missouri Conservation and the Public Works Department like our ordinance the way it is. And that person was offered an ability to bring an agenda form to the board, and we would have a discussion with them about it. And they haven't done it yet. So you might relay back to them if they would like to do that. We have all the data. A lot of the data we sent over to them.
Yeah, I suggested that to them also and told them where to get the form and how to fill it out.
Okay. Just want to let you know, we sent a lot of information through Alderman Davidson when they hit him up about it as well.
Okay.
The airport, the runway lights, we had some runway lights that needed repair, and those have been repaired and operational. The projects for the alignment for the south lift station are still on schedule and on track, as well as the UV disinfection system. As you all know, that the UV disinfection system, we're going to be pushing that fairly hard because we're trying to meet the deadline for DNR and the licensing of that. We are moving forward with the information through Mid-American Regional Council and providing them the last part of the paperwork. And my understanding is the MARC board approved the funding recommendations. And so the $993,600 for the city of Harrisonville got locked in for that federal funds for that the Muddy Creek tributary there along to Highway. And we're also going to be submitting that information. Mr. Brooks is going to be submitting that same location for some SEMA funds and grant funds for that as well. So we're going to continue to go after grant funds along all that area and location, because we feel the more grant funds we get for it, the less that our budget has to come up and the citizens have to pay for that. And so we'll continue to advance that forward. The bids came in on the airport hangar B repairs higher than what we had budgeted. So we sent it back to the drawing board to try to see if we can reduce the cost for the repairs for that, because it was higher than what we had budgeted. So Carl and crew are seeing if they can come up with a different type of design that would reduce the cost. The Public Works Department, the Street Department, thank you everybody for complimenting on our good street department. I think Rodney and the guys are the best in Cass County, and they do a great job. From that last event, we had 35 tons over those mileage, and the it was $5,592 that it cost us in the supplies that went out on that. So it was a much worse event that we were expecting. We are thankful it wasn't worse. We did have 2 outages. One was a tree limb that fell on a wire, and one was a wire that had fallen, but Andy's crew was able to get the power back up in 30 minutes. And so it wasn't a issue, but as I believe as Alderman Turner that pointed out on the power, it is very recognizable that our crews are getting the tree issue under control and making sure that we can have less fried squirrels and limbs falling on our tree limbs. And I don't know if it's because Andy has turned loose the mascot dog on a lot of the squirrels, but I did see a squirrel by City Hall actually climb a pole, and I told him he needed to run for his life because Andy was coming. Alderman Davidson did point out the promotions in the police department of Mike Davis and Charles Shepard to sergeant, and Mike Arbuckle to detective. So we want to congratulate them. We did with the Shopper Cop, because of COVID challenges, they still hosted the largest event to date with 186 kids. And so I think that'll continue to grow. They invited an additional 35 to 40 that decided not to attend because of the restrictions. And the additional officer, we do have one patrolman for the last period that tested positive, one animal control person that tested positive on COVID. And so additionally, the police department had utilized through the COVID funds, we have a disinfection system machine through the fire department and utilized that over the weekend within the police department. And so anytime we have any type of employees and we see that we have quite a few that are getting that, we bring in that machine to do extra disinfection within the building. And again, that was the machine that we bought was through the care funds to be able to utilize that. They had 2 personnel out in the EMS department as well due to COVID. The community center had their free day on the 31st of December. Then, like most things, the Parks Department was notified by their Civic Rec software that, hey, in 6 months, we're not going to be supporting the software you use anymore. So Jeremy and Grant are working on coming up with a plan on their software. And so the old saying is, hey, you know, those projects that we were prioritizing, some of them might get reprioritized. We just love it when they send us stuff that they weren't telling us it was coming. In code 10 is what everybody at City Hall is talking about. Year-end encumbrances, year-end AP process, getting the employee manual that you all passed rolled out to employees. We're also doing additional training. We have Bucadian Company that we use for HR resources, but they are going to be helping us with the training of department heads and staff on the new processes that we have put out. Additional processes of additional requirements that wasn't being kind of kept up with, and we're going to kind of keep up with those, which are the normal yearly annuals of workplace violence, sexual harassment, and those kind of trainings that we want to make sure that our employees are kept up with to date. Codes department is very busy, and you've seen from the reports, even the Walmart distribution center is doing a $3.8 million improvement out there. Aldi's has continued to move forward. We did have the medical MJ dispensary is completing final inspection for that location. And actually, we've gotten quite a bit of responses of people that are happy to at least see the building being improved and seeing a lot of the deterioration of the parking lot that's been improved as well. And so we've been getting a lot of good comments on that. April Clark in the Public Works Department is going to be leaving us. She turned in her 2 weeks notice. And then Sandora Gutro, also from the Finance Department, Peculiar has stole her back. And so she'll be going back to Peculiar. Then we've prepared the map documents and submitted all that information for Sapp Brothers. There's a whole process requirement we have to go through, but that process is being completed, and sales tax and property tax will start being assessed and collected with February 1st, that we'll be seeing those coming in. And I think with that, Madam Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ratliff. Questions from the media? Dennis says nothing. Dennis is actually here with us tonight because he wanted to take some pictures of new Alderman Franklin. Before I make my comments, I see a lot of staff on here. I love it when you guys have your cameras fired up so I can see your sweet smiling faces. Any staff have any comments that you want to make to the board tonight? They're very quiet. Okay, so what I'd like for you to do, please make a note on your calendar that our next meeting is Tuesday, January 19, because Monday, January 18th is Martin Luther King's Day. So our second meeting will actually be on Tuesday, January 19th. Dennis, would you make a note of that for the paper? Because it was incorrect in the Harrisonville happenings, and I really would like for people to know that that is going to be just on that Tuesday. Electric Superintendent Pollard, I see you on the Zoom meeting. I want to thank you. You heard the board bragging on you and your crew about what you did as far as the ice storm was concerned. What they may not know yet is that you also sent a crew to Hannibal. Guys, you'll remember we sent a mutual aid crew to Louisiana a few weeks ago after a storm. Well, we got a call, our MPUA got a call from the city of Hannibal that they had had an ice storm and a lot of people without power. And so the city of Harrisonville was one of 5 cities that responded to the city of Hannibal to help get those people back up. So again, thank you for your leadership. We're really glad that Florida kicked you out and sent you to Missouri. All right, that's all I have. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Alderman Dorhoff with a second from Alderman Zaring. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll come back for the work session. Thank you.